Hey, what's going on, all of my friends out there? Welcome to Gamers with Gains. So in this video, I got something special for all of you. All of you guys that are out there that are picking up Pokken Tournament, you know, after its initial release, at the time I'm making this video, I'm going to give you guys some pointers on how to play Machamp, both in ranked matches and friendly matches, when you're with your friends locally, all these different types of things. I'm going to teach you guys how to play Machamp using some of my experience and some type of little things that I picked up throughout my time with this game. So in case you guys didn't know, currently at the time I'm making this video, I'm in the top 10 of Pokken players on ranked matches currently, and I've had a lot of matches, a lot of experience playing with Machamp since the game has come out. Now, again, all of this stuff that I'm going to tell you guys could apply to just about every type of matchup you could actually think of, okay? It's just some basic pointers as well as some advanced techniques in order to help you guys get started in making those wins on ranked matches and friendly matches online. So, either way, we're going in here into training mode. Again, this is free training, just nothing too complex. I want to just so I can show you guys some techniques, some basic stuff that you need to know as you play as Machamp online. So here we are. We're in field phase right now. We're starting off in this matchup, okay? One of the things that you got to know about Machamp, and one of the things you got to keep in mind, is that Machamp is a close-range fighter. Unlike amongst all the rest of the cast in the roster in Pokken Tournament, Machamp always wants to be up close. Why? Because he deals a ridiculous amount of damage compared to the rest of the roster. However, he has a very tough time actually getting inside against a variety of other Pokemon. Again, I've played a ton of matchups involving Chandelure, involving Sceptile, Pikachu, the list goes on, Mewtwo, etc. He has a very tough time getting inside, but once he gets inside, he can do massive amounts of damage. Okay, so here, let's reset some stuff here. When you're in field phase, as you start up a matchup, you're going to be in field phase. You want to be able to try to use your attacks to your advantage in order to get inside and get them into duel phase. So one of the first things I like to do when a matchup starts is to focus up or psych myself up with Machamp. This right here, it's just by hitting the A button. Okay, I'm going to reset. Just by hitting the A button, he actually does that little psych up there. Not only does that change up the properties of some of his moves, but it allows you to use a couple of different techniques that allow you to get inside very quickly as well as knock him into duel phase. One of the things that you can use after you psych yourself up is this cross chop lunge. Okay, as you can see here, knocks him into duel phase. It causes a phase shift. Okay, once you use that, okay, you have to be able to psych up again, and then you'll be able to use the technique all over again, both in field phase and in duel phase. Okay, another attack that you want to be able to use, especially if you're fighting against a person who likes a lot of range attacks, you know, a Pikachu, a Chandelure, a Braixen. Again, jump up and use your projectile attack. It's jumping and hitting Y fires this kind of slow fist missile attack. Okay, it's like two fists going at your opponent. While it's slow and it can't be stopped or dodged, if it's landed at the right opportunity, it's going to deal a lot of damage. Okay, again, just to give you guys an idea. Use that right there. Again, as you psych up and stuff, it changes up the properties of your attacks. It's a little bit faster, again, so you guys can see the difference here. Look, it's a little bit faster as opposed to something like this, which is a little bit slower. Not a huge difference, but it's still noticeable. So you constantly want to be psyched up in order to make sure that you're getting the most out of your attacks. You also have in field phase, you have your standardized punch combo that knocks him into duel phase once both hits land. I also use this technique here, the actual jumping, jumping fist attack, which is just your jumping melee attack, that not only allows you to get inside quickly by doing that little flip or whatnot, but once it lands, it knocks them into the next phase. Again, if I'm all the way back here, I'll actually just get back all the way over here just to show you guys. Look how much distance that covers. Okay, if they're spamming ranged attacks and you could kind of read them and stuff, you jump up, do something like this. Just make sure that you're actually having enough of your mix-ups, okay? You're being kind of unpredictable enough to get inside, and that way you don't get hit by an anti-air or any sort of attack that's going to knock you backwards, and then you have to start all over again. Again, as you psych up, changes up a little bit of the properties, does a little bit more damage, as you guys can see. Just a tiny bit more. Again, it varies depending on what's going on in the matchup. If you hit them in counter hit, if you hit them, you know, when they're just moving around and stuff, things are going to change up. But that's going to be one of your main techniques on top of the cross chop that allows you to get inside. Again, the distance that the cross chop covers is like that. It's very fast. It comes up very unpredictable. So let's say you're just getting into like some sort of matchup or, you know, trying to get in there when your opponent's blocking and stuff. Well, whoops, I actually hit the wrong thing. When you're psyched up and such, you're going in there doing all sorts of attacks, trying to get inside, and all of a sudden, boom, you hit him with that cross chop. Okay, I didn't hit him there, but you guys get the general idea. Okay, you want to be psyched up. You also have some other techniques, again, in field phase. You have this command grab, which deals a lot of damage and knocks him into dual phase, as you guys are going to see here. Especially if you're psyched up, you're going to do more damage, like so. See here, it's basically pretty much a seismic toss or a spinning pile driver or whatever you want to call it, okay? That's one of Machamp's main damage dealers. Once he actually goes into that, especially if you're psyched up, he's going to do a lot of damage. You guys are going to see here. He grabs him, spins him around, throws him down, does a decent amount of damage there, and knocks him into dual phase. Here's the difference when you actually just use it standard without psyching yourself up. It's still going to knock him into dual phase, but it won't deal as much damage as you can see. Okay, now again, in field phase, I think that Machamp is a little bit much more at a disadvantage. You want to be able to get into dual phase to get up close and deal the most damage. When you're here, your opponent has a lot of freedom of movement. They are able to move around constantly, and you have to constantly struggle by getting inside in order to knock them into dual phase and stuff. I can't tell you how many times I've had, like, struggles or, like, tough times getting inside by characters or players that like to keep away because they have a variety of different ranged attacks, and being able to kind of keep away and actually just spam out projectiles at me dealing damage. Because once I get inside, then they're going to get bodied, then they're going to get hurt. You also have some other techniques here. Again, you have this little slap attack, which knocks characters into different phase. Again, all of his attacks are super powerful, will cause a phase shift and stuff. But most of the time, I don't really use this as much. The same thing also goes for this slap. This slap, again, is very situational. I've seen some other Machamps online, particularly Czechia actually uses it in the Machamp mirror match. But against most other characters, you're not going to find yourself using this as much. But again, matches are very unpredictable. Adapt as you see accordingly. If you like the mix-up game, you like to do different techniques and stuff, you definitely want to be able to use attacks that are going to get the results of what you want. So if you find yourself wanting to use this as much, in order to avoid a projectile, in order to mix your game up, you see your opponent jumping up, boom, hit him right in the face. Again, that's in field phase, but let's go to dual phase. Again, I'm going to switch it over to dual phase. Once you're knocked them into dual phase, okay, this is where the meat and potatoes of your actual game is going to come from. The actual damage that you're going to be delivering out is going to all mostly come from dual phase, because Machamp is pretty damn beast in dual phase, especially if he's up close. Again, you want to be up close to be able to do damage and use a variety of different actual attacks, okay? Now, one combo, or at least one kind of like group of attacks that I like to use, is a 2-hit into a command grab. Now, it's going to whiff here because obviously this isn't a real match, but what it does is that you hit him twice, and then when your opponent tries to do another action, and instinctively they'll normally block when they have that moment of opportunity or try to jump away, you'll be able to hit them twice and then go into an actual command grab. So basically it's just Y, and then forward and A to go to a command grab. Again, it whiffs now, but during the course of a matchup, while things are in motion and stuff, it's going to grab the person. So basically, after you do the 2 hits, it's basically going to go into this. You're going to deal a lot of damage, and you're going to cause your opponent to kind of panic in a sense. Anyway, let's go back here. Here's another combo, which I think is the bread and butter combo of Machamp. If you really want to learn how to play Machamp, here's your bread and butter combo that you're going to want to learn. It's basically a crouching attack, which knocks him up into the air twice, okay? You do that, you jump up, you do your actual punches by hitting jump and hitting Y. You do it again to scoop him up again, and then you go into the kind of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure multi-Dragon Ball Z hit punch, which is going to look like so. Let me show you guys. Okay? Goes to third hit, and then go into the Dura punch. Boom! And then it causes a phase shift. Look at that damage output. Went all the way from full health to 400. Let's see that again in motion, guys. Okay, this is your bread and butter combo. 1, 2, 3, and then finally 4. Boom, son. That one dealt 430. Again, hit him off the wall, went down to 400. Again, you deal a little bit more extra damage when you knock him into the wall. Again, this is your bread and butter combo, what you need with Machamp. So if you have the opportunity to land this, if you see your, an open opportunity against your opponent, knock them into this thing, and I kind of whiffed it there, but here we go. If you see him that opportunity, do so, hit him twice, hit him again, hit him back up, and then go into the Dura punch. Yeah, boom, look at that damage, son. All the way down to 400. And that's against another Machamp, which he has a ridiculous amount of health. 660 to 400, that's a lot of freaking damage, okay? So anyway, that's your bread and butter combo, but most of the time, a lot of characters or a lot of different players, unless they like using that medium or close range combat, they're going to want to get away from you. So you're going to constantly struggle to try to get inside in order to deal that type of damage to them. Remember, Machamp does a ridiculous amount of damage with all of his hits, but he can't actually deal that damage unless he's hitting them. So in order to get inside, one of the first things you want to do after you knock them into duel phase, or any sort of like, you know, whatever's going on in the matchup, if you throw them and you knock them into that phase shift, you want to be able to psych yourself back up, because that's going to give you access to your cross chop. Because remember, look at that distance that the cross chop actually covers. Look, boom, all the way up in the face. If you're all the way back here and your opponent's trying to do an attack or whatnot, or setting up to do an attack, sometimes, especially if you're a little bit closer, boom, hit them with that. Actually messing them up and stuff. Let's reset that so I can show you guys again. This is the distance that the cross chop actually covers. If you're all the way at the end of the screen like that, you won't hit them, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt, because most characters like Chandelure, most characters like Pikachu, etc., all those characters with those great long-range attacks are going to want to be at the edge of the screen trying to get away from you, and you want to close that distance. Again, you have to use careful judgment. You have to be clever about getting inside, because if you don't get inside, you can't do damage and stuff. When you're about mid-range and, like, let's say you're jumping around, getting away from attacks and stuff, you're doing all types of stuff in the air or whatnot, maybe not so much the clap, but you're trying to do stuff here to get around or whatnot, then boom, hit that cross chop. Actually get inside. Turn the tide of the momentum. Or, again, if you're actually getting in there and you have to see an opportunity, go in there and do a command grab. Look how much damage this command grab does in dual phase. Boom, son! 660 to 480. That's a ridiculous amount of damage, especially if you catch them. And if you're even doing jumping inside, doing 1, 2 into the command grab, again, it's going to whiff now, but during the course of a matchup, that will hit. You'll do a ridiculous amount of damage and cause your opponent to panic and stuff. Now, there's a couple of other moves that Machamp can use, depending on who you're fighting, that you could actually use to get inside. Here's this tackle attack that you could charge up, covers full screen damage right there. Let's look at that again. That's basically your forward and X attack on the actual gamepad controls, depending on what control scheme you're using. Forward and X, if you hold it, it covers full screen right there. You could actually use it to get little spurts to kind of close your distance, depending on how long you actually hold the charge for it. Again, the longer you charge it, the further it's going to go. Like that, and the more you might actually gain up your shield for the actual attack triangle. Because most characters, like Chandelure, for example, likes using that full screen command grab that a lot of people struggle with. This actual move goes through it. So when you charge it up, he'll actually whiff it, and then you'll be able to hit him full screen after he does that. So let's reset it here. Again, look at that distance. Boom, full screen, son. All the way down at the end. Even just partially hits that decent amount of distance. So like if they're doing an air attack that whiffs, you go inside, you jump up, boom, go inside for the kill. Now another move you can use in duel phase to kind of mix things up while you're trying to get inside, and I like doing this especially if I'm up close to mix up my opponent, is this jumping falling attack. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Zangief's actual was it air attack, I believe it's air punch or whatnot, that where he just drops his body down. When you do this, right, you could go in for some more attacks. Whoops, let me reset it here. Go up a little bit further. As you guys can see, he gets blue shield, goes in to follow up with some extra attacks. Boom! Into that phase shift. It's really good, and I use it a lot. Sometimes maybe a little bit more so than I should, depending on the matchup. But it's good for just dropping down. Let's say you're jumping up, right? Or, okay, they're full screen or whatnot. You're trying to get inside. Trying to do all this stuff here. Boom! They're trying to do that. Avoid an actual anti-air. Actually do that. Go again. Boom, right there to actually go up into their face. You have to be able to be quick enough and on reaction, try to adapt to what your opponent is doing to get inside to do all that damage. Now, again, here's the other one for the Durarara punch that's part of our bread and butter combo. This thing right here. This is a really good attack that deals a lot of damage and causes a phase shift. Sometimes you can mix it up. Like sometimes if I'm getting inside, boom, going down there, 1, 2, into the actual punch. That's going to deal a lot of damage all the way down to 359. Look at that damage there, son. Look at the damage of this combo. So boom, going down, 1, 2, boom, right into the actual Durarara punch. Boom! 359 from 660. That's a ridiculous amount of damage, son. You want to be able to do stuff like that. If you find yourself where you're fighting an opponent that's like really quick on their feet, really quick on their reaction, you're not able to get a command grab or whatnot, you find yourself constantly guarding, but you're able to get inside or do something like this, use that actual combo and actually do a ridiculous amount of damage, cause a phase shift, really kind of spook them. Because again, 660 to 329, that's a ridiculous amount of damage, especially if it's coming off the wall. Lots and lots and lots of damage. You want to be able to make some gains with that damage every time that you're able to anyway. So here we go, let's reset it again. Now, there's other moves that you can use depending on the matchup. Again, no matter who you're fighting, you want to be able to use your counter attack right here, okay? That's his kind of, again, it's like that Stangy spinning tornado attack, okay? Where he spins around. That's one of your main counterattacks, one of your main shielding stuff. If you're fighting an opponent that likes throwing out attacks constantly, likes using ranged attacks, and you want to be able to get inside, use this in order to get inside. Especially if you're up close, launch the attack. Look, here it goes. Boom, boom, boom. There's 3 hits. You can't follow up as much depending on the character or whatnot, but it's going to prevent you from getting damaged. Now, what you can do, okay, like any other character, you should be able to cancel it to advance forward. So let's say you would absorb an attack, you'd be able to absorb, go forward like that. It's basically like a focus attack dash cancel in Street Fighter. Basically, you do your counterattack, you let it charge up for a bit, but instead of releasing it where he actually does the attack like this, you actually do the attack, hold forward, and then hit R to actually move forward. You want to be able to advance yourself forward like this. Once you get inside, you'll be able to follow up with some more attacks, and boom, son, more damage. You want all that damage you can get inside. Anything that's going to help you advance forward, you want to be able to do stuff like that. Okay, so there we go. Let's reset it. Boom, boom. Okay, let it go right there. Boom, boom. And then, look at that. Going for the gains punch. Going there for that other bread and butter combo. Boom, son. Look at that damage. So much ridiculous damage. 400 all the way down from 660. It's ridiculous, son. Again, most of your damage is going to come from dual phase. You want to be able to be in dual phase and you want to be up in their face. Now, let's talk about this right here. The actual backhand slap. That backhand slap. When somebody's messing with you, oh, son, go boom, son. Go in there, follow up like this, go more damage, son. Okay, now, the thing about this, okay, and about a lot of Machamp's moves, you want to be able to do the most damage that you can in dual phase. However, there are going to be those moments during a matchup where you might accidentally cause a phase shift. Hitting a big attack like this can sometimes cause a phase shift later on. So just like what I said before, do that, try to go for the bread and butter combo, all of a sudden, you're going to knock them into a phase shift and it's going to kind of interrupt the combo and kind of throw you off your game. You have to be mindful of that. Sometimes it might make sense to do a little small attack like this or make another small attack like that or whatnot. Or even a charge throw, or was it a charge tackle like that, to prevent yourself from accidentally knocking them into the next phase. Sometimes even when you're actually doing a variety of different stuff, sometimes going for a command grab or whatnot might actually help you out. Again, you want to keep them in dual phase in order to mess them up, especially if you're up close in the face. By knocking them into the actual, next phase like that, sometimes going to throw them away if you knock them away from the wall. So now you have to get back inside again, okay? So anyway, let's reset it there. So, with that being said, guys, okay, again, most of his moves have different properties, have different types of like damage outputs or whatnot, and also sometimes shielding, depending on if you're psyched up or not. You always want to be psyched up. I cannot stress it enough to you guys how much you want to be psyched up, because when you're actually in dual phase, you go in there for that command grab off a combo, boom, look at that damage output from 660 to 480. That's a huge difference from actually just doing a regular command grab. Look at this. Look at the difference here, okay? 660 okay, to 540. You get that extra damage with that psych up. So always make sure, guys, when you're in dual phase, whenever you have the opportunity to and you have that moment of opportunity, psych yourself up. That way you have access to this, you have access to your command grab, you have access to all types of stuff that's going to make you a little bit better on the actual battlefield. Boom! Look at that, son. Look at that damage, son. Anyway, guys, hopefully this actual tutorial was helpful for you guys. If you're interested about playing an interesting character that you want to make some more gains and more wins online in ranked matches and friendly matches, you know, here in Pokken Tournament, hopefully use these techniques to your advantage. Try out some matchups. Some matchups I can say that are really tough for Machamp. Again, Pikachu could be really tough depending on the player. Mewtwo as well could also be a little bit tough. Breaksin, I think Breaksin's one of the hardest matchups for Machamp, especially because of how easy Breaksin could actually spam projectiles and make it very tough for you to get inside. But regardless though, if you're a savvy player, if you use the techniques and the tips of which I've given you guys today, you'll be able to get in there, actually do all kinds of damage in there, make it hell for your opponent. Boom, son. Bust out one of these combos. Yeah, look at that damage. Boom, son. All the way down to 400. So there you go, guys. Thank you for watching this video. Please hit that like button. Please share it with your friends. Hit that subscribe button as well and check out all my videos I have here on the Gamers with Gains channel. And I will talk to all of you guys again real soon. Peace out. Stay epic, everybody.